Lindsey Graham, the Republican senator from South Carolina, is going to take on Ali Soufan, the man who would know best because he's the one who interrogated Abu Zubaydah and some of our top detainees for the FBI. He's going to take him on because he knows. And he's got a gotcha moment for him. Uh-oh. Let's watch.
About the interrogation of this suspect, do you know a gentleman named John Kiriakou?
Me?
Yeah.
Myself? The
Yes.
question? No, I don't know him.
Okay, he gave an interview. He's a retired CIA officer, and he said, Abu Zubaydah, is that the guy's name?
Yes.
That's it, right? He said that they waterboarded the guy, and he broke within 35 seconds.
Is this a question for me, sir?
Yes.
Well, last week he retracted that, and he said he was misinformed, and actually he was not at the Abu Zubaydah location.
Okay, so he just...
He retracted that, yes, sir. That's one of the things that was mentioned before.
Right, right.
And now we know it's 83 times, not 35 seconds.
Right. Oopsie doopsie. ABC News had retracted that story well ahead of this testimony. What was it, 2 weeks before this testimony? At least that was all over this news. And then Kiriakou himself came out and said, as Soufan points out, no, I retract that. And 35 seconds of waterboarding, they waterboarded the guy 83 times. How could Lindsey Graham be so ignorant as to not know that? It's amazing to me what they do not know. And he's like, who's this guy, Abu Zubaydah? That's one of the top detainees we have. How do you not know him? I hope you were just struggling with his name, but it seemed like he was like, Zubaydah, do I have that right? Man, it's unbelievable how ignorant these senators are, especially, as it turns out, if they're Republicans.
Well, what he was thinking was, damn, I got to go back and check my sources. I got to make sure I email Rush again and see what Michelle Malkin's talking about, because that's definitely where I got all my information.
That's right. It turns out you might want to check another source other than Rush Limbaugh. All right, so Lindsey Graham embarrasses himself right off the top, but he's not done yet. He figures that he knows better than the interrogator anyway. We're going to go to clip number 6 here, where he just won't let go.
Do you believe that any good information was obtained through harsh interrogation techniques? Can you say that there was no good information?
Well, from what I know on the Abu Zubaydah, I would like you to evaluate the information that we got before.
Well, the Vice President's suggesting that there was good information obtained, and I'd like the committee to get that information. Let's have both sides of the story here. I mean, one of the reasons these techniques have survived for about 500 years is apparently they work.
Because, sir, there's a lot of people who don't know how to interrogate, and it's easy to hit somebody than outsmart them.
I understand that you believe you got it right, and you know how to do it, and these other people don't. I understand. I understand that. In many ways, I agree with you. But this idea that you're the complete knowledge of what happened in terms of interrogation techniques and what was gained is not accurate. Your testimony is not a complete repository of what happened during these interrogation techniques of high-value targets. There are other interrogations going on, and there's an allegation made that these interrogations yielded information that protect Americans. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it in complete terms.
And to be fair to the witness, Senator, I think he hasn't represented himself anything more than somebody who can correct.
I mentioned my own personal experience.
Right, and I have nothing but the highest regard for this gentleman. I just know this is not it. This is not the whole story. And the point is, do we need to keep doing this? I think we've cleaned up this mess. We've got it right, generally speaking, and the more we get into this, the more we're going to make it chilling for the next group of people who are asked to defend this nation.
No, I have the highest respect for this gentleman, except for the fact that he's a sissy who won't torture. You know, Dick Cheney told me it works, so it must work, right? By the way, every person who's seen the classified memos has come out and said, we can't see what Cheney's talking about. We don't see any information that we did not get from non-coercive techniques already. The non-coercive techniques, for example, that Ali Soufan used on Abu Zubaydah to get the identity of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and other critical information. So, Lindsey Graham, stop listening to Rush Limbaugh and Dick Cheney. There is no secret information that tells you how awesome torture was and all the lovely things we got out of it. And he says, oh, but my other genius idea is, well, if torture didn't rock so much, why have we been using it for the last 500 years? You're going to make that pro-torture argument? Because understand what happened 500 years ago. The Spanish Inquisition. Well, you know what? We've been using it since the Spanish Inquisition because it's worked so well, so why go from something that's working? Do you know the things that they got people to confess to in the Spanish Inquisition? You know that they weren't exactly right? Okay, they got them to confess that they were the purple dragons that worked with Satan and et cetera, because they tortured them. And then we used it in the Salem witch trials. And lo and behold, we got confessions that there were witches. They don't work. They haven't worked for 500 years. Are you not paying attention, Senator Graham? And what's the great irony of this is that Senator Graham was, along with John McCain, one of the Republicans pretending to be against torture back when Bush was in charge. They made a big stink like, oh, no, we are against torture, yeah, ha, ha, and they passed the law, and then Bush put a signing statement on it, this law is full of crap, and I have no interest in following it. And then Lindsey Graham was like, all right, great job, Mr. President, no problem, shook on it. And then later they passed the Military Commissions Act where they were like, that stuff we said about torture being not so good before, I know the President ignored it. He was right. We should ignore it. Detainees shouldn't have rights either. Lindsey Graham used to be a lawyer in the military, man. What he has been reduced to is absolutely embarrassing.